I've been reading comments on my YouTube channel, people who are saying that they would love to live in Mexico, that they are planning to live in Mexico, or that they want to move to Mexico, or at least visit Mexico. And I can understand why. It's full of beautiful scenery, the weather is perfect in a lot of places in Mexico, and the cost of living is low compared to other places in the world, such as Canada, United States, places in Europe, Australia. It can be such an enriching experience. It can be so exciting too. But in this video, I would love to talk about something that people don't consider very often. At least I didn't consider when I moved to some countries that I've been living. Well, actually two. When you're actually in Mexico or in any other country, you have a mixture of feelings. A feeling that for some people can be much more than they expected, and feelings for other people that can be so exciting. The important thing here is to be aware. So stay tuned because it's going to be super interesting for a lot of people who want to live in another country. As you probably know, and if you didn't know, and if you are watching this video for the first time, I am Mexican and I am living in Mexico. I've been living almost all my life in Mexico, but I also consider myself a person who likes new experiences. So I met my husband in another country, my husband is from another country, and we like traveling. I've been living abroad twice in my life. I think I've learned one thing or two, and now that I'm moving to Colombia this time, and next we don't know what we want to do, what country we would like to do next, I am having the time to think about the feelings that I had before. I'm not at my 20s anymore, so the kind of travel that I'm looking now has changed. The first point that I want to talk about is learning the language. It's going to be part of your life. You need to communicate, and this can be a challenge, a new thing that you can start doing. It's always good to do different things, but it's not as easy as many people tell you.
Si chido es de allá.
Chido también, claro, claro.
Güey.
Güey. I am a Spanish teacher, and from my experience as well, I can tell you that you have to follow a journey into learning the language. You know that I offer Spanish courses to help you improve your conversation and your speaking if you come to Mexico or to any country in Latin America. But it's always good to combine your language or learning with other resources. When Dave and I were in Vietnam, we started to use a great platform to help us practice English, in my case, Spanish, or Vietnamese in Dave's case. It's called italki, which, by the way, it's the sponsor of this video. italki is a language learning platform that connects students with quality native teachers to study English or Spanish with customized one-to-one lessons that start from $5. What makes italki unique compared to other platforms is that you can choose between a wide range of teachers to study at your own schedule. So this way you won't feel committed if you decide to try other lessons with other teachers. italki also offers lessons in over 150 languages. Did I mention I use it with Vietnamese? Nowadays, I keep using it to practice English. Dave is also using it to practice Spanish.
Words or dialogues with those people, but you actually understand why they feel the way they feel, why
exactly.
they say the things they say.
And some expressions that we use to express our emotions that they don't find they don't exist in English, right?
Yeah, exactly. And I would also complement your point by saying that there are many things in Spanish that you cannot express in English and vice versa. there's an expression that I always use and that I think most of us English speakers use, which is looking forward to seeing you, looking forward to working with you. And there's no way to say that in Spanish.
Si que eres británico. Sí. ¿De qué parte de Gran Bretaña eres? Se llama Birmingham. Está en el centro de Inglaterra. Está en Inglaterra. Ah, Birmingham como el equipo de fútbol, ¿no? Exacto, sí. Perfecto. Ok, ok. Sí. ¿Y están viviendo en México? ¿En qué parte de México ahora? Pues actualmente estamos en un...
Do you have New Year's resolutions? Because I have something for you. Use my code KarencITA2023 and get $5 in credits to use it in your first lesson. Take advantage of this promo as it will expire in January 31st, 2023. And it's also limited to 50 people. 2023 is your year to learn Spanish or English or any other language and move to that country that you've been dreaming of. I went to Vietnam with my husband for a year and a half, enough to learn Vietnamese, not probably at that advanced level, but enough to communicate. And I know what you're going to say. Well, Vietnamese is a very difficult language to learn. That can be true. It has a lot of different tones. You have to learn grammar. Yes, the pronunciation is difficult. I think I learned how to order basic, very basic conversations with Vietnamese people. That feels great because that makes you feel, okay, I'm living in the country, I can communicate, I can do my basic needs. So I feel great, right? That can be enough for a lot of people to live in the country that they want to live. But I would say it depends on the experience that you want to have. When I was in Vietnam, I realized that I couldn't talk to Vietnamese friends, or I couldn't go to only Vietnamese parties because they would speak in Vietnamese. I was losing something. I was losing also part of the culture, inside jokes, situations that only happened in Vietnam that they were even in front of me. I couldn't understand. And I think one of the reasons of why I didn't want to stay longer was because of the language. I'm not blaming the language. It's my fault. I should have done more. If you want to move to Mexico, and even if you may know some Spanish, you probably realize that in Mexico people speak differently compared to other places in Latin America. That's completely normal. We have a unique accent. My advice for you would be, don't be afraid to ask for clarification. Be immersed into the language. It's fine. People are very kind. People listen to you and they feel very happy when you are speaking Spanish. Struggling to find new friends. If having a community or if having friends is important to you, this is something that you have to take into consideration. Moving abroad opens you up with a new world, new ideas, new people as well, new ways of thinking. I have to admit that when I went to Vietnam, I found difficult to find new friends. I just thought that it was going to be easy. And the reality is that you need to put an extra effort. In my case, I was probably shy. I didn't have enough confidence to meet other kind of people from different parts of the world. The language didn't help either. My English wasn't good at that time. I lacked a lot of confidence with that. And as a consequence, I didn't really feel like I was at home. So my advice would be for you to join local communities, events, organizations, take classes of something, and you slowly are going to find your community. You slowly are going to find your friends. There are also lots of apps, websites that can help you connect with people in other places around the world. People are usually more open, so it's not difficult, but it's true that you have to take into consideration that you have to do some things that you weren't probably used to doing it back at home. The next point is loneliness. This point might seem very obvious, but it's a little bit more complicated depending on what kind of person you are. It's normal to think that when you're in a new country, you want to go out and you want to hang out to meet a lot of different people, and you'll realize that it's not as easy as you thought. And loneliness is one of the things that all of us, probably the majority of us, feel. I think there are two types of how a person could feel alone. And probably if you are feeling alone in another country, you want to go out almost every day to see people so you don't feel that you are just alone at home. And that's fine. I already mentioned a few ways of how to make friends. But the other thing that I want to mention, and this is personal, is that some people, and this was my case, let me know in the comments if it's your case as well. Some people, if they're feeling alone, if they feel that they don't know that something is completely new, maybe they are shy, it's difficult for them to meet new people, they don't realize and they start to isolate themselves. This happened to me. I started to feel overwhelmed by a lot of new different things when I was in Vietnam, I remember. And even though I was with my husband, and probably this is one of the reasons, I thought, okay, I'm fine with my husband. I have my husband and we can spend time together and everything is going to be fine. So I didn't prioritize to meet more people, even though I think I knew people, don't get me wrong. I feel that I didn't make a strong connection because I isolated myself. And I just wanted to mention this because sometimes just people tell you, I just go out, meet new people, but it's not easy. It's not easy for a lot of people. So if you're this kind of person, you need to consider this and you really, really need to do an extra effort to put yourself out there because it's not going to be easy. And more if you're in a couple. If you're in another country as a couple, you have to have your independence. You have to have your own friends and to start wondering why you like that country where you are living instead of a couple's decision. And I believe that we are going to enjoy more in this way. I definitely think that there are more upsides than downsides when you move abroad. One of the things that I wanted to mention in this video is that you can find the love of your life. It's so common. I've seen it many times. I know a lot of couples that are from different countries and they get along very well. It's a beautiful relationship. That's why I wanted to mention it here. And again, I think the key to have a fully experience in another country is to be so open with different ideas, different tastes. Try everything because we don't know if this is something that is going to change our life. Of course, I want to mention that I met Dave in another country, in Colombia, 10 years ago. I thought it was a love for the summer only, but look at us, we're married now. I feel so happy for having taken that decision because he has taught me a lot of things, new experiences, and he's learned a lot of me as well. When you move to another country, you learn to cherish and appreciate your time over there because you don't really know when this is going to be over. Maybe you already know that you want to spend your time in that country, but you are appreciating every moment of your life. We make our days count by fully living them. I think your brain stopped having the same routine that we've been having for years. And that's something that is very magical, very unique. At the beginning of this video, I said that I was going to travel to Colombia for 2 months, and then we don't know what we want to do. We want to have that experience again before we settle down. We are going to do it because I felt our relationship improved a lot the last time we visited Colombia. We had a great time there together. We started to feel more relaxed. We started to work much better. So that's why we want to go back. Mexico is my home. I know that. But traveling and living abroad makes you having an organization of your time. A time for work, a time for travel, time for getaways with your friends. It's a great balance. Every time I come back to Mexico, I feel like I appreciate my country even more. The food, the scenery, the cities, the towns, my family, and I appreciate every moment, every instant. I really know that I want to spend most of my time in Mexico. So there you are, a few things to consider if you're planning to move to Mexico or to another country. Mexico is a beautiful and vibrant country with many things to offer. There are a lot of foreigners, people who are living in Mexico and have decided to live in Mexico forever. But I believe that with a little bit of preparation, you'll have a smoother transition into this new world. Thank you very much for watching, and don't forget to subscribe to this channel, La Karencita, for more tips about Mexico. See you soon. Adios.